From his insane ability to sink a three from anywhere on the court, to creating space without the ball too, Steph Curry is one of the greatest players to play in NBA history, and it's not a surprise that many players fear him. For instance, why wouldn't you fear someone who has the ability to influence the offense in so many ways? As good as he is from the range at sinking those threes, Curry also has this magnificent ability to create his own shot from the dribble, which means he doesn't rely on his teammates to find him a good pass. But you'd be foolish to think that shooting is his only forte. He's actually a brilliant dribbler. From hesitation dribbles to ankle-breaking crossovers, Curry has it all in his locker room. Most people tend to overlook this ability to dribble against opponents. But for me, it's actually what makes him so dangerous. When most of the defense is preparing to make it difficult for him to take a shot from the range, and instead choose to leave the pathway for a layup open, Steph takes advantage of that because, despite his frame, he's quite effective in the paint. Not to mention, the chef also has fantastic vision. He may be the outright leader for made three-pointers. But did you know that Steph is about to break into the top 50 in NBA history for assists? And he's also the assist leader in Golden State's franchise history. So when you're up against a legend like this fella, you know it's going to be a rough night. How do you play against someone who can do it all? But most important of all, how do you play against someone who has skills that are truly impossible to defend against? You can't defend someone who has great vision. And even if you defend the outlets, he always has that deep three up his sleeve. So it's hardly a surprise that teams find it impossible to create ways of defending Curry. And it obviously helps that he's played with the same core throughout his NBA career. And that chemistry means that the Warriors players communicate telepathically, making it near impossible for the opposition to read their movements. But the biggest fear factor when you're talking about Steph Curry has to be the aspect he's known for, his shooting ability. And that is cash money. In fact, I'd say that Steph being the greatest three-point shooter of all time has not only affected his career, but also transformed the way basketball is played in the NBA. He provided the tools for Steve Kerr's vision of implementing an attack based on long-range threes. And simply put, it wouldn't have been possible without Steph having the confidence in himself to take threes in the most clutch moments. But the best part has to be the consistency with which he does it. On the nights when Curry is feeling it, he'll make you feel terribly inferior. Because as per many analysts, there's no answer to the chef's heat. Some players over the course of their careers manage to have decent games against fellow greats like Michael Jordan and LeBron James, etc. It happened rarely, but some players did have their number. Unfortunately, as far as Steph is concerned, there's no hack to defending him. He doesn't even look like a traditional basketball player, if we're being honest. So most players aren't prepared when they face him for the first time. Be it your first time against Curry or your 20th, if he's in the mood, there's no chance you stop him from scoring because there's no way of defending someone who can drain threes from anywhere on the court. And trust me, it happens way too often for it to be a fluke. There's a reason he's the only player to have more than 20 games with 10+ made three-pointers. The next best, Klay Thompson with 9. And unsurprisingly, it has made Steph so successful, which brings a certain element of intimidation when opposition players take the court against him. Not to say that Steph isn't humble. No sir, he's very humble. It's just the aura that he brings along with the rest of that Warriors side on the court. And the latest team to feel that heat from the Curry-led Warriors were the Boston Celtics of last season. Just look at the way they made it to the NBA Finals. They were just so good. But despite the wonderful season they were having, and despite the poor season the Warriors were having, it all came down to which team can hold their nerve at the biggest stage. And Steph, having been on that stage so many times in his career, knew exactly how to dismantle the Celtics. And he did it with ease, winning the Finals MVP en route to his 4th ring. He just knows how to improve his teammates and how to create opportunities for others, while also contributing big time to the team's success. And his experience of being a serial winner is something that you just can't learn. Being clutch isn't a joke, and it takes a lot of failures to get there. Of course, that defeat in the 2016 NBA Finals still stings.
Know how it ended. What I say about that 3-1 situation is I've never seen two guys play at that level.
But it shows the Warriors' ability to put it behind them and go on to win many more rings since then. And it wouldn't have been possible without the 6'2" demon of a guard they have at their disposal. But that's not all. Steph is also a master of the pick and roll. From using screens to create space, to having the ability to get open for shots or even drive to the basket, Curry has it all. Defenders find it very hard to make quick decisions and adjustments to the way Steph plays.
Draymond to set the ball screen. Steph for the lead.
And it can be very challenging to live with the 35-year-old when he's on top of his game. But when you add his court vision and his quickness to all of this, you realize that it's a daunting task having to play against someone like him. He can change directions within a split second thanks to those quick feet, and he almost never fails to find the right pass, no matter how you choose to set up. But for me, the most underrated trait, and the one that brings fear not only in opposition players, but his teammates too, is the next one, the leadership trait. And as you know, leaders lead by example. Steph's positive attitude and team-first mentality is an underrated trait that you'll find throughout the Warriors' core, and he has the respect of his teammates and opposition players as well. So when you're playing against a legend like Curry, you've got to show a little bit of respect to him.
How's it going in Curry? Long distance Curry. Hits the three at the buzzer. Steph Curry ends.
Unfortunately, there's a thin line between respect and fear, and many players cross it without knowing. He's also very vocal and knows how to get his team up and running, especially during adversity, and isn't afraid to hold his teammates accountable whenever they mess up or even himself. That said, to be successful in the modern era, you need to be adaptable. And Steph Curry is very versatile. He can adapt to different defensive strategies, and it doesn't matter how you set up the defense, and whether you double team him or ensure that he doesn't take a shot away. Steph's adaptability is the reason he's still on top of his game in the twilight of his career. Because it's 2023, we've got video analysis of everything a player does, and analysts who can break down every player's game within minutes. And they've been doing it with Steph for years now, but he still remained at his best. No wonder NBA players fear playing against the chef. That's all I had on why NBA players fear Stephen Curry.